Here at the first spot, guys, I'm gonna go over these settings real quick. The stuff that works for me. Now, I can tell you, and I can show you here in a little bit, this little stand I have for my GoPro isn't really what I want up here. But the water up here has gotten a little bit stained, which is okay. But still got a fairly clear picture. So all of you that do the Livescope stuff know how to get to here. I like the emerald green. I can just see it better. That's just for me. You can change it whatever you want. I always leave the noise rejection off, no matter what. Very seldom do I ever touch the gain. I'll show you the gain here in a minute. I usually leave it 65. I'll go up to 68. That's about it. The ghost reject I always leave on auto. TGF is always off. And just so everyone knows, I had trouble with my power supply to this unit, to my black box and stuff. And I called Garmin, and I'd found a factory reset thing a guy said to do on the YouTube, and that messed everything up. It actually lost contact with my black box. So I fixed my power issue first, and then the Garmin guy, which was so much help, he and I'm gonna try to reach out to him to get like this written down so I can either post it or go over it with everybody. But he had me go over like a factory hard reset, not just going into here and going back to factory settings. It was a factory hard reset, I believe is how he kind of described it. And I'm telling you guys, everything everything has just worked better than as good as when I very first bought the unit 3-4 years ago. So reach out to Garmin if you want, and tell them you're having troubles. And but for sure, and everybody says the same thing, the power, you have to have good clean power. I got my black box and unit running a dedicated Dakota 50 amp hour battery, which my unit here says 12.6 volts, but the people I had installed this up here, they my unit actually doesn't run off my Dakota battery, just my black box. So I check it every now and then, and it's usually almost 14 volts when I start. Very seldom when I get back after all day fishing is it ever below 12.5. So power, good clean power is a main thing in my opinion. So appearance, like I said, you can change whatever layout you want. The layout over grid, I leave my grid off. I have a hard time seeing anyways. The less clutter on there, the better for me. We already went over noise reject, ghost reject. Go to installation, the install depth. If you want to try to see the plop of your jig, you can adjust that right there. It's always easier for me if I can see my jig right when it hits. It's not looking like we're finding too many fish in this creek where they were. But adjust with that to where you can see the plop of your jig. You can track it a lot better. Orientation forward, of course. Focus, I always leave that in auto refresh, or auto fresh, I'm sorry. So installation, so we'll go back up to appearance. Color scheme is black emerald. Okay, here's kind of the big ones that everybody, I don't know, there's a whole lot of different opinions, man. You just have to put it out here and play with it. I tell you what I done when I first started. I've done it since then too, several times. I started having trouble seeing my jig. Everybody says, tie on a bigger egg sinker, or do this, or you can always kind of see the braid line in the water. But this right here works the best for me. Always leave the trails off, and the color gain is right at 100%, 98, 95, and the color limit like 23, 25. I never change it. I'd never change it. But like right now, the water's a little stained. Of course, we're not finding any fish either. we'll go over here to a couple spots I've got marked where I found some fish before. But anyways, that's kind of like the basic, you know, the basic settings for me, and it works out good for me right now. We already went over all of that stuff, and I'll be honest with you, I don't even know for sure what these things here are. I don't mess with them. If it's working, I don't mess with it. So here I usually scan. If I'm scanning, I'll go out to 50 feet. I also have the LVS 34 transducer, and the new Beatdown Outdoors breakaway transducer mount. I have both the mounts on my shaft and the barrel of my trolling motor. Tournament time, I'll usually probably move that to the trolling motor, because you do a lot of scanning, a lot of moving. If I'm taking clients out, kids, grandkids, then I put it back on the pole, because windy conditions, you all know how hard it is, and boat control is 95% of the battle. So we're gonna go up here and see if I can find some fish. Here's a few here. I don't know how big these fish are. We'll see if they're active maybe. But I wanted to go over the settings first, and I think I'll find some fish. These aren't really there's a little group of little dinkers there. Here's some decent fish right here, maybe. So we might dip down here and try. So something else, if you guys would leave comments down there, subscribe to my channel. One thing I do have a terrible time with, I run a 24 volt Minn Kota Ultrex. I have a terrible time with my spot lock. I mean, terrible time. It'll drift and overcorrect, and I adjust the boat scale. I do the circle thing, you know, and recalibrate and all the stuff you're supposed to do. And I just battle and battle trying to keep the spot lock within, you know, 5, 6, 7 feet. So if you guys got any other recommendations, please comment below or send me a message, and maybe you guys can help me a little bit with my spot lock. So we're gonna get things ready here and dip down on some fish here. As soon as I can find some that I think are active, we'll be right back.